Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I know over the last couple of days that horrendous and heinous act that took place in Minneapolis at a church was so devastating and repugnant that it's almost unspeakable about what that one person did at that shooting at that church that took the lives of at least 2 kids and injured many more. But before I get started in that story, we have reached a point in America where there's such a strong pugilance and pugnaciousness towards violence and gun violence being brought against other human beings. The level of inhumanity that we have today is just abominable. And we have to take a look in the mirror. In the United States, we have more legal and illegal guns on the streets than any country in the world. We also incarcerate more people than any other country in the world. And so it goes to say, or goes to show, that we need to take a look in the mirror. Are there too many guns on the street? Is there too much easy access, especially for young people, to get their hands on guns? And it makes you wonder, the school year has just started. It hasn't even been 2 weeks that these young people have been in school, and there's been multiple school shootings already, almost by design. Even on college campuses, you have the incident at Emory University with the CDC, with a gunman who was shooting at folks and ended up taking his own life. You had a shooting at Villanova University. And there's been just a rambunctious amount of shootings that have taken place already in August. This particular situation in Minneapolis is similar to the shooting that took place in Tennessee a year or 2 ago, where you had a transgender person, a male identifying as a female, that decided to go on a shooting rampage at a school. And now you have this scenario in Minneapolis where this young man, identified as a woman, went from Robert to Robin, and had many issues, whether there was mental health issues involved, which I completely believe based on the allegations and the storyline behind what took place, the family dynamics of this person, and you're seeing a little bit of a stereotype with these school shootings are generally taking place by a young white male. And in similar situations, we have young black men who are killing each other young black men. So we have this duality going on where you have these angry young white males that are taking out their anger at these schools, typically speaking, and then you're having an innumerable amount of young black males that are committing gun violence and crimes and murder and mayhem against other young black males in particular across our country. What is going on with our young people? We have to figure this out. We're going to lose an entire generation to inept inner city public schools, fatherless homes, the opioid crisis, helplessness, and homelessness. And one thing that America has to look at by this old saying, you can't accept the fruit if you don't get to the root. That is a very true moniker. So let's get into what happened with this situation in Minneapolis for those who have not paid any attention to it or had time to follow. And I'm going to go through a little bit of it and see if we can see what the heck is going on. But this is very unfortunate. And we have to pray for those parents who lost their children. The kids that have survived PTSD is going to be an issue in mental health. issues are going to come about with these young kids to see this kind of mayhem take place in the United States of America. So there's going to be a long journey to recovery from the parents, from the community, and definitely for the kids. Minneapolis school attacker was obsessed with the idea of killing children, officials say. Investigators say that the attacker, who opened fire on pupils as they were praying at a church in Minneapolis, was obsessed with the idea of killing children. Robin Westman, who killed 2 children and injured 18 others, did not seem to have any specific motive, according to Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. The attacker appeared to hate all of us, the chief said on Thursday, adding, more than anything, the shooter wanted to kill kids. The murdered children have been identified by family as Fletcher Merkel, who was 8, and Harper Moisky, who was 10. Yes, they said a coward decided to take our 8-year-old son, Fletcher, away from us, his father, Jesse Merkel, told reporters. Fletcher loved his family, friends, fishing, cooking, and any sport that he was allowed to play. Give your kids an extra hug and kiss today. We love you, Fletcher. You'll always be with us, he continued, choking back the tears. This is what Jesse Merkel said about his son. The parents of Harper Moisky, Michael Moisky, and Jackie Flavin said in a statement that their daughter was a bright, joyful, and deeply loved 10-year-old whose laughter, kindness, and spirit touched everyone who knew her. So a little boy and a little girl, 8-year-old boy and a 10-year-old girl, succumbed to the gunshot wounds from this individual. As a family, we are shattered, and words cannot capture the depth of our pain, they said, adding that they hope her memory fuels action to stop gun violence. No family should ever have to endure this kind of pain. Change is possible, and it is necessary so that Harper's story does not become yet another in a long line of tragedies. Officials have released few details so far about the suspect's background, but they say Westman previously attended the church's school and had a mother who had worked there. And what does this say for this young man, a young man, woman, he, she, about his or her mother? She has to be embarrassed, heartbroken. This has to be extremely tough for the mother of the suspect. The 23-year-old suspect is believed to have approached the side of the Annunciation Church, if I'm saying that right. Annunciation Church, which also houses a school, and fired dozens of shots through the windows using 3 firearms. Police also found a smoke bomb at the scene. So this person came ready. Witnesses have described seeing children bleeding as they fled from the church, begging for help from strangers. In a news conference on Thursday, acting U.S. Attorney for Minnesota, Joseph Thompson, said the shooter expressed hate towards many groups, including the Jewish community, and hated President Trump. The attacker, who died at the scene of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, left a note, officials said. But they added that a definitive motive may never be known. I won't dignify the attacker's words by repeating them. They are horrific and vile, said Mr. Thompson. Westman's name was legally changed from Robert to Robin in 2020. So this individual had identity issues and was trying to transition from a male to female. With the judge writing minor children, that this minor child identifies as a female. However, some federal officials and police have referred to Westman as a man when discussing the attack. Technically, he was still a man. Chief O'Hara told reporters that news outlets should stop using the killer's name because the purpose of the shooter's actions was to obtain notoriety. And this happens with many of these mass shootings, even serial killers. They're looking for fame in this cloud of evilness. He added that she, like so many other mass shooters that we have seen in this country too often and around the world, had some deranged fascination with previous mass shootings. U.S. officials have warned for years that mass shootings can lead to copycat killings as killers seek to become famous through their heinous crimes. Several major news organizations have a policy of not identifying mass killers. FBI Director Kash Patel has described the attack as an act of domestic terrorism motivated by a hate-filled ideology. I agree with that 100%. In a post on X, Patel said that the attacker left multiple anti-Catholic, anti-religious references written on guns and in notes uncovered by investigators. The subject expressed hatred and violence toward Jewish people, writing Israel must fall, free Palestine, and using explicit language related to the Holocaust. He wrote. The killer also wrote an explicit call for violence against President Trump on a firearm magazine. In their news conference, officials confirmed that the attacker had previously attended the school. Her mother, Mary Grace Westman, previously worked at the school and has so far not responded to law enforcement's attempt to contact her. Why would she say anything? She wants to crawl under a rock and definitely wants to get out of Minneapolis. And we have to pray for her along with the victims because she's a victim in this too, in my opinion. They also confirmed that 3 residences associated with the attacker, who was from suburban Minneapolis, have been searched by police. They said that the church locked its doors before beginning its mass service, likely saving many lives. Officials added that the guns used in the attack were all legally purchased, that the killer did not appear on any government watch list, and that the police were not aware of any mental health diagnoses or treatments that she was receiving. Well, if she had not been receiving any mental health treatment, this person definitely needed it. Now, that's where it could be some accountability if she was living with her mother. I'm sure the mother had to see signs and symptomology over the years that her son, she kid was having identity issues, sexual identity issues, and of course, there's a mental component that goes along with that. Did the mom ignore that? Did the dad ignore it? Where is the dad in this person's life? They keep talking about the mom. What was the family dynamics in that house that were taking place? We have to reach one and teach one. And we are living in a world where I say all the time, the unseen will become seen and the unbelievable will become believable. We are in some biblical dark days. We have a ton of children of the corn that are going out here, and their level of immoral, unethical, and inhumane actions to other people is at a premium today. Witnesses and relatives of the victim who spoke to the BBC have described harrowing scenes of violence. Patrick Scallon, who lives near the church, said that he saw 3 children fleeing the building, and one of the girls had a head wound. She kept saying, "Please hold my hand, don't leave me," and I said I wasn't going anywhere. Vincent Francoul, whose 11-year-old daughter Chloe was in the church when the shooting took place, she said he tried not to panic after he heard the news. He called it sick that children in the U.S. are trained to prepare for mass shootings, saying that we live in a country where we train kids what to do. And she did what she had to do, talking about his daughter Chloe. Here it's a pattern. It's no longer a freak accident, he said of school shootings in the U.S. This is happening way, way too much. I'm a father of three children, and the last thing you want to do, and all parents talk about this, you want to be able to leave this earth before your children. And you definitely don't want to be in the presence of your children being a victim to such a heinous crime like a shooting situation, a kidnapping situation, any of those things. Children are innocent, and they are our present gift, and they are definitely our future. He also said he told his wife that morning when they dropped their kids off, we don't know if she'll be back home safe. Mr. Francoul, who is originally from France, said that Chloe is afraid to return to school or church. Of course, these kids are going to have psychological therapy, maybe forever. This is PTSD, warlike scenario at its prime. Even as an adult, who would want to be a part of a shooting scenario, a shooting spree? You don't know where the shots are coming from. You don't know why it's going on, what is happening, who is doing the shooting, and who are they trying to shoot. All of that would be going through your mind as a human being, and that would give any adult a heart attack in and of itself, even if you didn't get shot. So what do you think this is going to do to young, innocent children who are still in the developmental stages, mentally, psychologically, from a maturity standpoint, a physical standpoint, not understanding what's happening? In the wake of the attacks, several lawmakers, including the Minneapolis mayor, have called for the state to enact a ban on assault weapons. Now that's where it gets controversial. Is it the weapons that are killing people, or is it the people using the weapons doing the killing? I think there's still too much access to too many guns. And all of these high caliber semi-automatic rifles and whatnot, I don't see the necessity in it whatsoever. We have way too many semi-automatic, high magazine, 20 and 30 round magazines in these guns. For what? There is no reason that someone should be able to reel off 30 shots before they even have to reload, said Mayor Jacob Fry. Also calling for a ban on high-capacity ammunition magazines. That's what I just said. What is the point? We're not talking about your father's hunting rifle, he said. We're talking about guns that are built to pierce armor and kill people. This is such a sad story. I was hesitant to do it. I took a couple of days just to make sure to get the full breadth of what has been going on. But I think it should be talked about and provide some awareness. There are way too many school attacks and shootings that have taken place in this year alone. There are a ton. This probably is the hardest time in my 5.5 decades of living to be a young person trying to navigate their way through life with social media, with technology, the speed of technology, this technological source that we have today, whether it's computers, cell phones, or whatever, have replaced us as parents. The kids can find out any information, good or bad, by pressing a button. Technology has its advances, but it also has its burdens on society. This is a very tough time to be a child, and we need all of our leaders, our parents, our uncles, our grandfathers, our mentors, to grab each child by the hand and lead them into the right, positive, righteous, and God-fearing path down a road to some measure of honest, hard-working success. Tell me what you think about this unfortunate story in Minneapolis. Too many guns on the streets, too many shootings, and we need to provide more love in our life and less hatred and debauchery. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.